Hello everybody, this is Geargia and today I'm going to be doing a retro format deck profile for hat format. And the deck I'm going to be going over today is Geargia's. This is a deck that is very near and dear to my heart. It's the deck that got me into Yu-Gi-Oh! In the first place, and when I would play Yu-Gi-Oh! Casually, from late 2014 to 2019, this was the deck I played. Well, not exactly, but I played with a structure deck, and I was playing basically hat format. We had hat format power level and strategies and all that sort of stuff. We were stuck in hat format for like 5 years, which honestly, that was probably the most fun I've had in Yu-Gi-Oh! But enough reminiscing. I'm gonna go ahead and get into the deck profile. 3 Geargia armor. This card's insane. It's got a lot of defense, and this is the core of the deck. Basically, what armor does is, when it's flipped up, you search for Geargia. Normally, accelerator is what you search for, although there are times where you search for other things, but normally accelerator is what you search for. This thing being able to defend you so well, like no normal summon can really get over this except like the beefy 2K dinos or the Evil Swarm Heliotrope. So, like, this thing was hard to get over without going to an extra deck summon. And then this thing would basically always search. You would have to pop it before it flip face up, and being able to just flip this up and down every turn is pretty good. 3 copies of Geargia Arsenal. This is just Bone Fire Blossom for the deck. Being able to just grab armor from the deck is really good. So I play 3, although some people like to play 2, I don't know why. I prefer maxing out on this card. 3 Accelerator, you have to play 3, this thing's amazing. It just summons itself if you have a Geargia, and it's not once per turn. It also has a neat little floating effect, so you can trick people into triggering your accelerators when, you know, they think they're killing an armor. It's actually really, really funny. Then, for the Geargianos, we got 3 Mark II. This is definitely the best one to draw. Being able to just summon monsters from your grave is really great. And then the Mark I. We don't really want to draw this, but this is a really good target to summon off of Mark II, because you can either make a rank 3, or you can summon back a tuner in order to make like a Black Rose or some other level 7. We only really play like the brand Black Rose, but having the Geargiano in the grave is actually pretty nice. Anyways, that is it for the Geargias. For the Karakuri engine, we are running 2 copies of Saizan. Saizan is just a level 4 tuner. It doesn't really do anything else, although its defense is kind of beefy. It's really just a tuner for our deck. We don't really care about that. And the main reason why Karakuri's work with Geargia so well. Nishipachi. We run only 1 because we search it off of our Geargia, which is why we can get away with such a low amount of Karakuris. And this is our main search target off of Gigant, if we don't already have a Karakuri in hand or a tuner. Basically, this thing can flip up your face down armor and it'll trigger it again. So if you like, you start the turn on the face down armor, you flip it up, you search, activate the effective armor, flip it down, normal summon this, you can flip armor back up and search again. And then the last tuner in the deck is Gen X Ally Birdman. This thing's insane, it's limited. We would play more of this if we could, but basically you can bounce your accelerators and then just summon them right back, and that just gives you free synchro summoning. This card's insane, and whenever I can get it, I do. I love it. That's it for the monsters. I don't main deck any hand traps because I don't think that they're particularly great. Like, not even Max C is great in this format for the main deck, just because there's only a few matchups where it actually kills them. Most decks can pass turn and not really die. This isn't modern Yu-Gi-Oh! For spells, 3 MST. Being able to, out back row is really great. So we run MST. And then 1 Dark Hole. Board wipe. That's it for the spells. I don't really play many of them. A lot of people like to play Upstart, but in this particular version of the deck, the Karakuris, you really don't want Upstart because you're trying to OTK when you can. And more life points just means that you're you're just making the game last longer, which we do invest a lot of our resources into the synchro plays, so it's not as grindy as the pure build. Plus, it doesn't have that as big a toolbox, so we'd rather just end the game faster. Traps. 3 Geargia gear. Oh my god, this card's insane. Just summon 2 monsters from your deck. And by the way, the level 3s that you summon are level 4 now. That's amazing. Just free rank 4. This usually is a death sentence if it resolves, because you can make any rank 4 deal with the current board state, or you can make Geargia to set up for even more plays, and usually you have an armor. So there's lots of combos that you can do with either with armor, and plus you could have like Mark II in hand, Geargia gear set, or you could have an accelerator in hand. So yeah, this deck can be very explosive, which is the main reason I like this variant. It ends games a lot faster. 3 Fiendish Chain. I like Fiendish Chain in this deck. There's a certain monster in our deck that can take advantage of ones that are stuck on our field, which is one reason why I like it. Just being able to prevent our opponent from outing our armors as well is amazing. 2 Call the Haunted. We don't play Soul Charge in this deck, because Call the Haunted is better. One, it just like Fiendish Chain, we can take advantage of ones that are stuck on our field. Another thing is that this card doesn't, pay our life points and revoke our battle phase, which is very important. We do like our battle phase more than other Geargia builds, which is why those builds can play Soul Charge, but we can't. 2 Breakthrough Skill. You could main deck Effect Veiler instead of this, but I think the double usage of Breakthrough Skill is just way too insane. And I think it's a lot better than potentially interacting on the first turn. It is crazy just how good this card is, and I love playing it. And then since we're playing a trap format, 2 Wiretap. You could definitely make room for a third one. I think the 2 is fine because we don't need to open it. If I do want the third one, I was thinking of side decking it in case, because I already have plenty of back row hate with MST, so having this, it's just a little extra insurance, and I do have a little more back row hate on the side. 2D Prison. Banishing an attacking monster is really good. This counters hands really well, because it doesn't go to the graveyard. It gets banished. It's also out stuff like Lead Yoke and things that normally can't be destroyed by card effects. So, and even if it doesn't have protection, just banishing a monster can be absolutely devastating. It even plays around Stardust. And then 1 Mirror Force, because Mirror Force is funny. Just people walking into this always feels good. And then other one-ups, we got 1 Bottomless. The pure build can fit stuff like hands in the Trap Tricks engine to search Bottomless, but I think that Bottomless is more effective when people don't see it coming. Especially with Soul Charge being such a popular card, Bottomless just destroys Soul Charge. You just, banish the entire graveyard, they lose all their life points, no battle phase. This card's amazing. 1 Warning, because haha, no summon for you. It's pretty good. And 1 Compulse. Another way to just say no to a summon is, it's pretty nice. And then 1 Torrential. Again, just saying no to a summon. Yeah, it's pretty nice. That's it for the main. For the extra deck, 2 Geargia X. This card is crazy. The pure build plays 3, but they never really go into the third one. So if I play pure, I'd probably still only play 2 of this, just because the second one, I go into it sometimes, but only if like I get Bottomless or Trap Trick Trapple Nightmare. But I should just not be activating Geargia immediately, if I'm gonna be honest. Like, that's just me being a bad player when it comes to the Trap Trick Trapple Nightmare. But for Bottomless, yeah, you can't really avoid that, so, and it Gang Banish sucks, so I just play a second one. I don't think I'd play a third one. 1 Daigusto Emerald. You could play Draco Sack instead of this. I don't like Draco Sack. Every time the OTK fails, it's because one of my berets gets outed, which means I can't make Draco Sack. Like, it gets hit with a D Prison or Compulse, so I can't make the Draco Sack. I've never made it. even though I tried it out. Emerald, though, really does come up. Recycling accelerators is amazing, and if you draw what would otherwise be completely dead Geargia gears, then you can just recycle the Geargianos back into the deck and summon them again. And recycling the Karakuri monsters as well is really good. So the recycling that this gives just adds a little extra grind to our deck that we normally wouldn't have. And plus we can go into rank 4s a lot easier than a rank 7. One honor arc, because it's honor arc, just absorbing a monster is really funny and it can protect itself. One diamond dyer. This card definitely comes up. Would not recommend playing a second honor arc over this. The diamond dyer, although it's technically worse, there are niche scenarios where this really does come up more. One Exciton Knight. This is literally just 2014 Zeus. Although it had more restrictions, like, you know, once per turns, and also, you know, you couldn't just use it whenever. You had to have less cards total than your opponent on your hand and field, and you could only use it during your main phase or their battle phase. But it's still good. One Dweller. Saying no to hands is very funny. Just no. You don't get to use your hands. And this also works against other graveyard-reliant decks, such as like Infernity and Mermail use their graveyard a lot. So just saying no to that's really nice. And then one Alucard. You could play Zen Mains or Soul of Silver Mountain over this, but Alucard it is easily the most, the one with the most utility. Just being able to pop face down cards is amazing. Like, face down Geargia armors in the mirror, that's an amazing thing. Popping back row. It's always good to have the Alucard in the extra. That's it for the Xyz monsters. For the Synchros, 2 Beret. I have found a lot of times where I can make the second Beret, but again, I don't play Dracosac just because usually one of my Berets dies when I could have tried making the Dracosac. Plus, Black Run of Heaven's a card, so I really don't want to play into that as much. Only one Burrito. I haven't really missed the second one, although back when I first played the deck, instead of like the Alucard, I had the second Burrito, and it was funny drawing 2 cards when I switch a battle position. It was kind of funny because it was a soft ones per turn, but mostly this is a big beat stick that can get you a draw. That's all you really need it for. One Black Rose. I don't go into this very often. The only time I really do is if I have the Mark II play where I can summon the Geargiano, pop that for Syzan, and then just summon the Black Rose, because then I don't really have anything anyways. Because I really don't like blowing up all my back row and all that. Although there have been times where I had to do that because I was desperate. One Crimson Blader. Synchro decks hate this card. Just because, no, they can't make Synchros, and artifacts don't like it because, you know, no Moral Tack summons, no Beagle Tacks if they play that, or Sights. It's really funny. And then also Mythic Rulers really hate this card just because they can't summon, like, anything. Their deck revolves around their rank 8s and 7s, so they need the high levels for that, and they can't do that if they're under Crimson Blader. One Stardust, because Stardust is really good. Being able to stop destruction is nice. Although I haven't gone into it as much, but that's because I have found less people like main decking double Mirror Force. I found them doing other things, but the destruction protection is really nice in the matchups that it matters. But the level 8 that I prefer to go into most of the time instead is Scrap Dragon. This can help clear out the back rows, and this is the card that takes advantage of, you know, the Fiendish Chains and the Call of the Haunteds that get stuck on your field, because you can just pop them and then destroy a card, so it makes them literally just free fodder for your cards. It's amazing. I love it. That's it for the extra deck. For the side, this is definitely pretty rough. I'm still working on it. There's some cards I need to order and some that need to arrive. So, yeah, I played 2 DD Crow. This is a really good hand trap against you know, graveyard reliant decks. Hitting the Dragon Ruler can hurt. You can also hit targets that they try to reborn off a Soul Charge. It's something I considered main decking at one point, but I just think that it's great in the side. 2 Effect Veiler. I've never used this. This card sucks for me. Like, I just use Breakthrough Skill instead. These are going to get replaced with Flying Seas eventually, because Flying Sea is actually pretty good. 1 Minecon. Mirror, it can be funny, or any rank 4 deck, just stealing a level 4 and making a rank 4 is funny. Some people try to use this against me in Geargias, but it's decent, but I don't think it kills the deck. 2 Blackhorns, I don't main deck it, because there are matchups where they just don't inherent summon, and it really sucks having these things be dead. So just having the matchups that they don't really, like, Hat doesn't really use their extra deck much. It's more of something that they can put some of their extra monsters to use for. So, like, and that's a pretty popular deck. Spellbooks are another one of those decks that this just does nothing against, and it's a big thing, and Boojint as well. So there's lots of decks that they don't need their extra deck monsters to do anything, but the ones that do need them, this goes in. It's amazing. 2 Debunk. I've been falling in love with this card just against any deck that uses hands or is very reliant on effects in the hand or grave. This just destroys them. Like, being able to negate and banish the card is amazing. So, Dragon Ruler effect? No. Debunk. It's amazing. 2 Mind Crush. This is mostly for the mirror, although other matchups where you, like, your opponent's searching a lot from their deck, and you're knowing cards in their hand that might be devastating, like Hat, that's a good one, because usually when they normal summon their Murmelio, you know they have the Bottomless, so you can just call the Bottomless and get it out of their hand before they can set it. Or just whatever they search. But mostly this is for the Geargia matchup. Because the thing is that no matter what variant you're playing, especially if you open an accelerator on top of searching it, just losing your accelerator sucks. So just ripping all those accelerators out opposing Geargia players' hands is amazing. This card is going to be replaced at some point with Spiritualism, but I have 2 Dust Tornado for now. Yeah, Spiritualism is better, just because bouncing, non-targeting bouncing is really funny. Just Artifact is really good against, like, Hand and other decks that have stuff that, you know, triggers upon being destroyed. And then I have 2 empty slots because I'm waiting for my Nobleman's Across Out to arrive, which Nobleman Across Out's are really good. Decks that require flip monsters like Evols, which have high ceilings, and I'm kind of afraid of Evols. But also the Geargia Mirror, which is the main reason why I got the card in the first place. Just destroying armor, or even destroying a hand, and banishing it too. And especially if it's a flip monster, just banishing all copies of it. It's insane just having that sort of thing. So I love Nobleman Across Out. It's something I use every now and then. And when it does come up, it really does come up. So that's it for, like, the deck profile section. I kind of want to, like, add in some pointers as a Geargia Karakuri player and do some combos, just because I think that there's not too many videos out there that really teach you how to play the deck. So I'll be posting a separate video pretty soon on the whole combos and the general playstyle of this deck. Don't think I'll be doing Pure, because I just don't have as much fun with Pure. It sits there forever doing nothing until eventually the opponent just kind of dies. Meanwhile, this deck can be more proactive in ending the game, which is one reason why I love it. Anyways, that was my deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time where I teach you how to play this deck. Goodbye.